Today I will be spending 50 days in Minecraft Hardcore. This is going to be my first time doing this challenge, so here are the rules. No respawn, hard difficulty, and the 50-day limit. Not only am I gonna start this off with the self-imposed challenge, but this is also my first time playing hardcore in general. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. I loaded into Minecraft and started creating my world and made sure to set the difficulty to hardcore. I loaded into my world and instantly started chopping wood. I made wooden planks as soon as possible because I wanted to make a crafting table. And then I also wanted to make wooden tools. I then began to mine for stone in order to upgrade my wooden tools to stone tools. First thing I wanted to do on day 0 was to get food and a bed. So I started killing a pig, then I started hunting down some sheep, and then I started mining iron and some coal. While I was mining iron, I was rudely interrupted by skeletons, so I decided to run away. Then while running away, I found some sheep to make my bed. Then I got on a high spot to see what was around me. I crafted a furnace and got food. Started eating it instantly because I was low on health. With the furnace ready, I finally started smelting the iron, which led me to get iron ingot. On the boat, I went to explore what was around me, and I was very happy to find the woodland mansion. I then arrived to this island and started chopping wood. I then decided it was almost time to go to sleep, so I crafted a bed for the night. On day 1, I woke up and decided I wanted to go on an adventure to find where to build my house. Started breaking bamboo, and I found a cherry blossom forest, which I was really happy about. I was exploring and found this cool cliff, which I was thinking about making my house at, so I ended up going down to see what I could find. I started chopping more wood, and then I decided it was time to get some rest, so I headed to bed for the next day. On day 2, I woke up and was greeted by some horses. I was very happy to find a village in the distance because villagers are always good to find at the start of Minecraft, since they could give you food and villager trades, which would be good in the future. The first thing I did when I arrived to the village was take their hay bales. I was gonna need the wheat later on in order to make the cow farms. And then I was rudely interrupted by this chicken. Then I took their bed, and I was very disappointed by the trades the villagers had. It didn't really have much. Out of frustration, I went into their house and took everything they had. I found leather armor, books and apples, more hay bales, and potatoes and golden nuggets. I went to see if the farmer had good trades, but I wasn't sure. I collected sugarcane, and I found this mountain where I decided I wanted to make my house at. I was going to have to flatten the entire area first. I decided to plant cherry blossom saplings, and while I was doing that, I noticed that my home view was going to be the village mountain. I did cherry blossom fencing for protection. After I crafted the shovel, I decided I was going to head to bed because I had a long day ahead of me. On day 3, the first thing I did when I woke up was flatten out the entire mountain area. I needed to do this in order to build my base on here. Besides that, that's mostly all I did. Just flattening out the area and chopping wood from the saplings I grew the day before. Then I decided to make a double chest for more storage because I had a lot of stuff in my inventory. I started planting a lot of cherry blossom saplings because I was going to need a lot of it in order to make my base. And I also planted bamboo because I was going to need it later on for scaffolding. And then I was almost done with flattening out the whole base. The reason this base needs to be very flat is because I'm going to have a cow farm, a house, and a farm. I need so much space. I finally got around to fencing up the base. On the night of day 3, I appreciated the beautiful sunset and I headed off to bed for the next day. Nothing much happened in day 4. I was just digging, chopping wood, and placing more fences around my house. Mind you, I keep going to sleep early so mobs don't spawn. Day 5 was spent mostly the same way. Just placing fences, flattening out the area, and then going to sleep early. Day 6 was a bit more interesting because it was my first thunderstorm, which meant mobs could spawn during the daytime. After finally almost completing the flat area, I headed to bed. The first thing I did when I woke up on day 7 was mine some cobblestone because I was gonna need it for my build. And lit up the area under my base so mobs wouldn't spawn. Then after a long time, I finally finished fencing up my entire base. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm playing so cautious and taking precautions such as fencing up my entire base. Yeah, that's why. I chopped more wood and placed torches around my base. On day 8, I woke up excited because I could finally build. I placed more fences, stripped wood, and finally got started on the farm. All of my hard work during the day, I decided to head to bed. Day 9 was similar to day 8. Most of it was spent working on the farm. I realized I needed buckets for the farm, so I headed out to get iron. While I was mining, I found the creeper and then I had a flashback. Then I took care of the spy as soon as possible. The spy called in more reinforcements and I was in a bit of a pickle. Thankfully, I was able to take care of it. While I was mining, I found more coal. After that, it was time to head to bed. On day 10, I can officially get my farms up and running. I started by smelting iron to make a bucket. Then I got sugarcane, got water, and then I made an infinite water source. The farm was officially ready, so I finally began planting my seeds. After I planted all of my seeds, it began getting dark, so I started to place torches and went to bed. On day 11 through 14, I was greeted by burning zombies near my farm. I decided it was time to upgrade my armor, so I went to a cave near the village. I was greeted by a spy, so I was on edge. I found another spy and a skeleton, but I was quickly able to take care of them. After that, I mined some iron and found a witch. I found the area that had a spy and a lot of iron, which I smelted. After finding all of that iron in the cave, I was able to make enough for full iron. I found this cool cave which I needed water in order to get down, but it worked against me because the spy tried to come up. I decided to mine down and I found iron and redstone, which was really helpful. After I got down, I decided I had to clear out the entire area first, which was kind of a pain, but I managed in the end. In the distance, you can see these little blue things, and that's the warden biome, so I decided to mine ores and quickly leave the area. After getting out of the cave, I decided to gather sugarcane and check on my crops. After that, I decided to craft an iron axe to chop down more wood. I got tired of chopping down wood, so I decided to find a cow in order to start the farm. In the comments below, let me know what you want the kids to be named. I'll come back later on with the name tags. Oh, and here's our progress so far. Day 16 was probably one of the most tragic days in the whole run. I spent the first half chopping down wood, but then something tragic happened. Basically, one of my cows decided to leave, making the family of 3 a family of 2, and then the other cow left, making the family of 2 a family of nothing. Day 17 started by stripping logs. Then I started crafting stone bricks in order to build the foundation of my house. Besides that, nothing much happened. I just went into the village after collecting the carrots, and then after trading with some villagers, I decided it was time to finally head off and get some sleep. On day 18, I just mined some coal and decided it was time to plant more seeds in order to finally get more wheat for my cow farm. I also smelted a lot of cobblestone and headed off to bed. On day 19, I decided to build an extension of my previous farm, and I put carrots instead of wheat. I fed my cows and started planting my carrots. After that, I got all of the stone I needed to finally finish the foundation of my base. I was very happy with how it was turning out and decided to add some finishing touches. Now it was finally time to use all of the wood I gathered from all those days stripping the logs. I added some yellow flowers to my house, and while I was building, I found a spy trying to get in. I crafted scaffolding, fed my cows, and mind you, this is all on day 20 because I haven't slept the whole night. I was very happy with how my house was turning out. On day 21, I decided I was going to keep working on my house, feed my cows, collect carrots, and collect my wheat. With enough wheat and carrots, I decided it was finally time to go into the village and get emeralds. After the trip back, I decided it was time to feed the cows, and I got right back to work on making my new house. I moved in all of my stuff that was in the chest outside indoors, and then I went to bed. On day 22, I woke up with the goal to expand my base. I was going to make a sheep farm next to the cow farm. I collected more wood because I ran out again. When I was done chopping wood, it was too late, so on my way back home, I was attacked by mobs. Both days 23 and 24 were spent working on my house. And I fed my cows. This was the last day before the halfway point, so I took some time to reflect. And on the next day, it was officially day 25. The first important thing that happened on day 25 was fighting a spider in my cow farm. Mind you, I hate spiders, so this guy was kind of annoying. I chopped down more strip logs and then I made my way into the village to trade for more emeralds. Then I found a villager and turned him into a Fletcher to see the best trade in the game, in my opinion. You could turn sticks into emeralds, which I find completely overpowered. I spent the rest of the day trading and then I headed out to sleep for day 26. The first thing I did on day 26 was change the villager I wanted to be the Fletcher because I was going to use him a lot. I instantly started chopping wood in order to get sticks and got my first batch of emeralds. I got more sticks and traded them for more emeralds, and I was going to be doing this over and over again until my Fletcher finally upgraded. My Fletcher, which is now upgraded, turned into an apprentice, and his new trade was 2 emeralds for a bow. So I got myself a few bows and got some more emeralds. I had no more trades with this villager for the day since he ran out of stock, so then I decided to head to sleep for the next day. I woke up on day 27 and he was still out of stock, which I was pretty upset about. While he was restocking, I took the time to feed my cows. Now finally, after a certain amount of time, he finally had more stock, and I bought iron boots as well from another villager to increase his stock as well. I chopped more wood, got some bows in order to increase his level, and headed off to sleep. There was an island near my house and village which I wanted to chop wood. And yeah, I know this wood chopping process and trading process isn't that fun to watch, but it's mostly all I did throughout the days. But on the bright side, my crops were finally ready and I was able to feed my cows, and the cow farm was looking nice. On the village side of things, my Fletcher was at an expert level, which I was happy about. On day 29, realizing my other Fletcher was almost maxed out, I decided to get another one, and I was trading the whole day basically. My first Fletcher was finally at a master level, and his last trade was arrows of regeneration. On day 30, with the crossbow I got from the Fletcher, I killed the drown that was trying to attack me. I was now finally back at my base, so the first thing I did was feed my cows, and then I got to farming because I was running low on carrots. I wanted a lot of carrots so I could finally max out my farmer villager because he had good trades. I also decided to collect sugarcane because I realized I haven't collected it in a while, and I was going to need a lot of paper for my lecture later on. I was done harvesting sugarcane for the day, so I decided to collect more wood and trade with my villagers. My master Fletcher also gave me a discount on the sticks, which was really good. After I was done trading, I was having a sniper battle with the skeleton that I was losing, honestly, and I headed back to fall back to eat. Then the strangest thing that has ever happened to me in Minecraft happened. As I was walking outside, a horde of zombies were heading towards me, and I have no clue where they came from. And then my farmer villager decides to do the dumbest thing I've ever seen and goes outside during a zombie invasion. I wasn't gonna suffer the same fate, so I headed off to bed. On day 31, I let the zombies burn to death, and I crafted a lectern for the librarian. I flattened the island near the village, which was where I was gonna make the trading hall. Then I realized I was gonna have to breed the villagers, so I started working on that. The iron golem was having a 1v1 with the drowned, and I helped him out, so he won the battle. With the look of his face, you could tell he was thankful I helped. In order to breed the villagers, I was going to need all of the beds in the entire village, so I started collecting those first. And yes, I made the mistake of doing this while they were sleeping. Then a spider attacked me. On day 32, I was going to have to collect all the villagers and bring them here and their beds. Some villagers were having trouble moving, so I tried to help them out with that. While I was moving one of the villagers on the boat, a skeleton attacked me. This was probably one of the most embarrassing mob encounters I've ever had in all of Minecraft, and I almost got down to 1 heart and lost the entire run. Luckily though, I survived, and I was glad I didn't lose the whole run to a skeleton, which if I had my shield on me, I would have easily survived. As I was sleeping, I reflected on how I should be more cautious and avoid encounters like that. On day 33, I went back to moving the villagers into the breeding house and was having quite the hard time moving villagers on boats. If you've never done this before, just know it's really annoying. After a certain time, I managed to finally get all the villagers into the house and headed off to bed happy. On day 34, I fed the villagers carrots because I needed them to breed. And after a certain amount of time, they finally had a villager junior. After that, I went back to my house and decided to plant more carrots. Now I was going to need more carrots than ever since my last farmer died, so if I was going to level up my new one, I was going to need a lot more. And after a long day, I decided I was going to finally head off to bed. On day 35, I wanted to work on the villager trading hall. So I fed my cows, planted some wheat, got some emeralds, and then I worked on the villager trading hall until the very next day. On day 36, the first thing I did was collect wheat, again for the farmer villager. I bred more villagers and flattened out the island a little more. It was getting dark, so I went home and collected some food. On day 37, I decided I was going to go mining again. But before that, I had to sort out my inventory. I headed down the stairs I made last time and killed the glow squid. I killed the creeper, killed the skeleton, and found some redstone, which was really helpful because I was going to need a lot of it for my villager trading hall. Stone was all I needed, honestly, so I headed home. On day 38, I fed the villagers more carrots, and I started smelting stone for my villager trading hall. I crafted pistons, levers, trapdoors, and oak fences. The first thing I needed to do was surround the island with oak fences in order to protect the villagers. After a certain amount of time, I finally got it done, and I headed off to bed. On day 39, I decided which villagers I wanted in my trading hall. I did more crafting to finish off the villager preparations for the trading hall. And then finally, I was able to start working on it. After the pistons, I placed down the redstones, stone bricks, and the block type wasn't really important. That's just the design I went for the trading hall. Then I placed down the workstations for my villagers, and I was really happy with how it was turning out so far. It was getting dark, so I headed off to bed. On day 40, I got right back to work on the lecture hall, and yes, I did get it from a YouTube tutorial. I went back to the village and fed them carrots so they would continue breeding. This made me low on carrots, so I collected more and started working on my house. After I chopped wood, I decided to head to bed. On day 41 was gonna be the day where I moved the villagers in the breeding room to the trading hall. So most of it was just getting the island ready and getting the villagers ready to be moved. On day 42, I was trying to figure out how I was gonna move the villagers. I was having a hard time figuring it out, but eventually I managed a way. Then a drowned hopped into the boat. The problem was with moving villagers was trying to get them into the boat without waking the other villagers up, which was really difficult, honestly. After a certain amount of time, I won't say how much time, but I managed to get the villagers to the island finally. After all that hard work, I got attacked by a drowned that was throwing a lot of tridents at me. The problem was that my shield didn't have a lot of durability and it was gonna break through it. Then it got in my boat, so I had to kill my villager in order to kill it. Day 43, I finally managed to get most of the villagers to the trading hall and I was really happy about it. Working with villagers isn't easy at all, so I was really satisfied. But because I killed the drown and I had to sacrifice the villager, one of my villagers had an increase in price. My next batch of villagers are ready to go and I finally got them to the island. Mending is probably the best enchantment in Minecraft, so I spent the time resetting the librarian and I got the infinity book. I wanted to buy the infinity book, but the thing is I woke up the next day and it was no longer there, so it reset. This is when I realized that villager trades will vary if you do not buy it. The thing is, the day after I got the mending book, which was arguably the best enchantment in Minecraft, I harvested sugarcane in order to make paper because I was going to need bookshelves to trade with the librarian. My other librarian after a certain time got the respiration book, which I wasn't too happy about, so I went off to chop wood. I got tired and headed to bed. On day 46, I was going to be making more sticks in order to get more emeralds to increase the level of all my villagers. I was trying to upgrade the toolsmith because his trades get really good towards max level. I put the excess materials in the chest and started chopping trees in order to get more emeralds again. Most of that time was just spent chopping wood because I wanted to get the most emeralds possible. Then I headed off to bed. Days 47 through day 49 was spent doing most of the same thing, just trading a lot to get the most emeralds possible. At one point I had 56 emeralds, which I was really proud about. Then I went home in order to reflect on what I've done in the 49 days. I was really happy that the challenge was almost over, but at the same time I was saddened to know that this is gonna be the last few minutes of the video. This was my first time playing hardcore Minecraft and I was honestly proud that I was able to survive for so long. And even though it wasn't easy, I'm glad that we finally made it. And on day 50, I finally completed the challenge, fed my cows, and harvested my crops for one final time. And if you made it all the way to the end, thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe. And also, make sure to stay tuned for our next video, because for the next 50 days, we will be conquering the Warden and the Ender Dragon.